let us all do we can to build a better future.
This information came up as I was getting ready to leave my home here to come here to the studio. If you'll recall that back under, I believe it was President Obama, there was some relief put in for student loan borrowers who had borrowed money to go to what essentially were worthless colleges and training schools. They were usually sinking under debt. They had gone to schools that gave substandard education or that closed down entirely, and they were stuck with the student loan debt. And the Obama administration wanted to clear that up so people could apply and get that relief. Of course, the student loan servicers made that difficult, and then after President Trump took office, Secretary DeVos basically said, well, you got some benefit from going to these schools, so we're just going to give you partial relief, even though they'd been promised full relief from the loans for these fraudulent schools. Well, President Biden has announced that he will be taking care of that and restoring that promise. It's about a forgiveness of about $1 billion, which is a tiny amount of the actual student loan debt burden in this country, but this is some positive news. As I have been saying, the one thing I'll say about the Biden administration, they are staffing the regulatory, the administrative state with competent individuals, which it's a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, people are going to be so grateful for competence that they may overlook other opportunities to press the administration on other programs that could actually help people. At the same time, I am, of course, pleased to hear that some people are getting the relief that they were promised and they should have gotten all along. So
yeah, isn't that nice? When you're defrauded and the previous administration is run by a person who makes money off that defrauding, and then she stops the. But the thing we talked about before the show that I was a little disappointed by is it's basically like 1/2000th of the total student loan.
Yeah, and also this has to deal with like these schools that were scamming. They're probably most likely for-profit schools, and I have a serious problem with these for-profit schools because the thing is that they've run this scam all across this country where they say, oh, you can go to school for about 6 or
go to school in your underwear
6 months or something like that, or learn online. And the thing is that document, that diploma that you get from these for-profit schools, which mostly do scam people, it's a fact. It's toilet paper is worth more than those diplomas.
Yeah, people cannot get jobs. I mean, when people have taken these diplomas, these credentials off their resumes, they have started getting calls for interviews. Again, one of the points that I would make is that they were trying for getting people to enroll in culinary schools. What had happened was there was a well-known brand, the Cordon Bleu schools here in the U.S. They were well respected. They were taken over by a for-profit education company that basically turned them into travesties. People could not get jobs afterwards. They were getting substandard education. And this is an industry, in hospitality, culinary work. That particular industry, the value of having a degree is controversial because many people get trained on the job. They do an informal or formal apprenticeship. There are also programs here in Chicago, job training programs that train adults for these jobs, take about 9 weeks. And you can do that. In fact, I remember at one point, and this was in the mid-2000s, there was one school that was charging, culinary school for profit, about $40,000 for a 2-year degree, where you could have spent $14,000 at one of the city colleges of Chicago for that degree.
Or conversely, work in a restaurant, get paid, and learn.
Yeah, and learn from the cooks themselves. Also, a lot of these for-profit schools definitely targeted a lot of veterans who were getting out of their service. They did. And their GI Bill disappears overnight, and it's just sickening to me because
it was sickening.
I went to Northeastern Illinois University, and I was able to use my GI Bill, but there has been so many other veterans that have horror stories dealing with these damn for-profit schools. Like I just can't.
And the other thing they were doing is that they were, for example, touting crime scene investigation programs. Okay, here's the problem with that. Very few, they were capitalizing, again, on television shows. With the cooking thing, it was all about the Food Network and Emeril and Gordon Ramsay. In the case of CSI, it was the CSI mega series and its various spin-offs. They were capitalizing on that. The problem is that most police departments, or many of them, can't afford CSI. departments. They just don't have that, and they're certainly not going to send out a crime scene investigator if somebody steals your bicycle. So these people were getting these degrees, again, that proved like criminal justice degrees. You talk to people who are in corrections or in police work, okay, maybe, but the thing is that oftentimes the police department or the jail will actually, or the prison system will actually pay for you to get that degree later on. All you have to have in many cases, not all, but in many cases, is a high school diploma or a GED. Mm-hmm. So this is the kind of thing that's happened. So I'm glad that the Biden administration is doing what it should have been done a long time ago, pushing them a little harder to make it easier for people to get out of from under the burden of student loan debt would definitely be a thing to do.